So, good day everyone. Thank you for joining our third series of webinar today. For attendance and search purposes, please fill up the Google links that will be attached in the chat rooms in a while. First of all, please allow me to introduce our speaker, Dr. Sedato Noliana Azimi from UNIMED. Dr. Sedato obtained her PhD in 2014 from Royal Melbourne Institute Technology University with abbreviation RMIT located at Melbourne, Australia. She has received the Master of Science in Communication Engineering in 2010 from University Malaysia Perlis. Previously, she obtained her first degree from UNIMED too, with honors in Communications Engineering, graduating in 2007. In RMIT University Melbourne, Australia, Dr. Sedato was a winner for poster and oral presentation 2 years in a row during Higher Degree by Research Conference Day RMIT as well as School of Electrical and Computer Engineering SECE Postgraduate Research Day. In 2013, she received a student grant from EUMW Germany that allowed her to participate in EUMW 2013 Nuremberg, Germany conference and eventually received commendations for oral presentation. She is very active in research and publications. She has published impact factor journals, national and international conference papers. Her research interest focuses on 3D and 2D frequency selective surface, 3D antenna structure, antenna design and diversity, dielectric materials, wireless network, besides radio frequency and microwave design. Currently, she just received professional engineer certificates that allow her to be called engineer, or known as IR. Without further delay, please welcome Engineer Professional Technologist, Dr. Saidato Noriana Azimi, to share her experience with us.
All right, thank you, Sunu Wai Ing, or I shall call her Jinman. Thank you for the long introductions. Jinman is actually our new president for the IEEE UNIMAP student branch. So today, my name is, as mentioned, by Jinman. My name is Saidato Noliana. Today, I would like to share with you guys my experience, my journey that I have been through. In order for me to become to be a member of the IEM. And then after I become the member of the IEM, the corporate member, I converted into professional engineer through the BM. So let me share my slide. Okay. Right. Okay. Hang on. All right. Okay. Everyone can see my slide?
Yes, Doctor.
All right. So without further ado, I'll proceed my presentations. So today, I would like to share with you guys my journey, my experience, the route for me to become the professional engineer. So I become the professional engineer through the IEM after I become the corporate members. So basically, there's 3 routes in order to become the professional engineer. The route A is from the professional assessments. This is when you are when you already become a graduate engineer and then you're working as engineer. Then you have obtained 3 years practical experience. Then you can use route A. Route B is for a candidate for that have a professional engineer from an overseas regulatory body, for example, chartered engineer, and then you wanted to convert it into professional engineer IR. So you can use route B. So for route C is for the persons who is become the corporate member. It's basically I use this route C, which is I become the corporate member first through the IEM, and then I submit the corporate membership to the BM. I register it, and then the BM award me with the IR, the professional engineer. So basically, I would like to share with you guys about this route C. Okay, so the first thing is to become the corporate member. You need to go to the IM website and then download all the forms that are required. So we need to fulfill the form's requirements. Okay, so step number 1. Step number one, the first thing is you must have an accredited engineering degrees. So that is the most important thing is, okay? Um, but what if your degree is unaccredited? Okay, it happens to me before. My degree wasn't accredited. Okay, so what my university done, they call all the alumni to attend this top-up course. So all unrecognized engineering degrees must have a top-up course in order to make the degrees acceptable by the BM. So that's what I do. I went back to Unimap and do this top-up course, and then they will issue you a new certificate. Then that certificate I uploaded in the BM website, registered as graduate engineer. Yes, graduate engineer. Or another option is that you can pursue master degree, okay? But this must be done in coursework. You cannot do it by research. Previously, I do by research, so it wasn't acceptable by BM as well. So I need to do the top-up course. And the next thing is you must to ensure that your master degree is recognized, okay? It must be recognized and must be accredited as well. Otherwise, it won't be acceptable by the BM. Another option is by joining the IEM. Okay, you can become the IEM member as incorporated member. Once you become the incorporated member, then you need to register with the BM, become the graduate engineer. So basically, the most important thing is you need to become the graduate engineer with BM. So here is the link of the website for the BM for those who wanted to register as a graduate engineer, because this is the most important thing, the step that if you're not graduate engineer with the BM, so you can apply for the professional interview. Okay, so that is step number two. I will I will share with you guys this slide so that you can click this hyperlink. It will directly bring you to the website. All right, step number three. Step number three, you need to have enough practical experience. Okay. As for lecturers, I am a lecturer. So as for me, I don't have enough practical experience. So I need to do attachments in industry. So basically, after completing an accredited engineering degrees, graduates are required to obtain at least 3 years of practical training and experience in engineering work as are comprised within the profession as engineer. Okay, before they are eligible to apply to sit for professional interview. So basically, the requirements are the practical training and experience must be obtained under the supervisions of a professional engineer, and it's preferably the supervising professional engineer can come from the same organizations. But what if you don't have PE in the same organizations? So what you can do, you can arrange a mentor in the same discipline with the IEM. You can go to the IEM website and you can find a mentor, a PE, or the corporate member in the IEM website. Nominate them as a mentor, okay? So they will guide you throughout this process, okay? When so basically, the mentor is preferably same industry, but it's not mandatory. Okay, it can be from others industry, but this process called logbook training scheme. So once you already nominate your mentor, you already find a mentor. So the mentor will guide, coach, and verify all the practical training and experience. And now you are become the mentee. So as a mentee, you need to meet your mentor regularly, at least quarterly, for guidance and also for the verifications of your logbook training scheme. Okay, so mentee must submit his logbook to the IEM for endorsement once a year. Okay, so but for the experience, for those who have experience, foreign experience, perhaps he's working overseas, so he has 3 years working experience, but not in Malaysia, but in overseas. So basically, it must be certified by a PE or its equivalent of the respective country. And the BM requires the candidate to have gained at least 1 year working experience in Malaysia. Okay, so basically you need to have 3 years foreign experience plus 1 year working experience in Malaysia. So that is the requirement for the BM, not by the IM. Okay, so this is the durations for training experience based on the engineering discipline. For civil engineering, it's required for 12 months design and 12 months site. Electrical, 12 months on design and 6 months on site. Electronics, 6 months on the design, 12 months on the site. Mechanical, 6 months on the design, 12 months on the site. For others engineering, 6 months on the design and 6 months on the site. As for lecturers, we kind of lack of this experience. So that's why we need to do attachment at least for 1 year because it covers 6 months design and 6 months on the site. Okay, so design experience means that the candidate should conduct appropriate research to evaluate options considering cost, resource, safety, and environmental implications, and also developing concept and final engineering design and engineering solution. It's basically if you wanted to do a project, so you need to design something, right? It's kind of like you're doing a proposal, something like that. That is what it means by design experience. So you need to have like at least 6 months on the design experience. And for the site experience, it means the training and experience that the candidate spends on site implementing the design. For instance, like for lecture, we do when you already designed something, and then you're going to fabricate, so you're going to measure it, and then you're going to validate. So this is what it means by the site experience. Okay, so as for me, I am communication engineering. I need to have 6 months on the design and 6 months on the site experience. All right. This especially for lectures, okay? Candidate teaching in engineering. The requirement is the candidate need to engage in lecturing EAC approved engineering degrees in Institute Higher Learning at the time of the applications, and the candidate has been teaching final 2 years of engineering degrees, at least 12 months cumulatively, and has an equivalent of 1 year's practical engineering experience. Okay, it can be cumulatively, and in addition to that, you need to have an approved full-time postgraduate study. Need to have research for the award of the higher degrees and research done while holding the lecturing post. So basically, I think for lecturers, we already have all of these requirements, but we just lack on the practical engineering experience. Okay. All right. So once you already have all fulfill the practical experience on the design and the site, step number 4 is to apply to sit for the professional interview with the IM or with the BM. As for me, I apply to sit for the professional interview with IEM. Okay. For those who didn't know, IM is the Institutions Engineering Malaysia, while BM is the Board of Engineering Malaysia. BM is the one that granted you the IR status, not the IM. Okay. All right. For the professional interview process, it consists of 2 stages. Stage number 1, submissions of the professional interview applications documents. So basically, you need to download all the forms and documents in the IM website. I will show you later. Okay. Once you already fulfill all the documents, and then come the stage number 2. Stage number 2 is in-person assessments of the candidate that consists of face-to-face oral examinations. It usually happens for 1 hour, and then you will have 3 hours writing of 2 ACs. So stage number 1, submit of documentations. Stage number 2 is the oral presentations, interview, as well as the examinations. All right. So basically, so this is the stage number 1. Okay, go to the IM website and then go to the membership, select examinations, and select professional interview. When you select this one, okay, it will come out, the outcome to link will appear. Okay, it will come out the outcome-based professional interview, guidelines and application forms, and then it will have section B essay questions. Okay, so we will go through one by one. Okay, I will share with you how to fill up this application form first. So basically, this is all the forms that that you need to fill. Okay, that is the requirements by the IEM. The first one is the IMPIA 300. Is the MIM, the international, sorry, member institutions engineering Malaysia application forms. All right, so we go here first. Okay, so this is how the form looks like, right? Okay, it's a very easy form. Okay, so first you need to fill up your personal particular. You need to put your pictures here. Okay, what we call this one? Passport pictures. Okay, and then your full names, your address, and everything. All right, and then fill up the discipline of engineering that you applied for. As for me, I applied for communications. Okay, and then please state particular or previous application form. This is what happens if you're not passed. I'm not wish you guys for this. I wish you pass for the first interview. Okay. And then if you are a member of the IEM, so you need to put your number here. As for me, I'm not the IEM member. I'm not incorporated members. So therefore, I need to pay a little bit pricey compared to the member. If you are the member, the price is only it's only 200. If you're a non-member, you need to pay 300. So the total payment is 100 plus 300 is 400 ringgit. So you can pay them directly when you submit the form. You can pay them at the counter, or during my time it was a COVID-19, so I transfer by bank. They usually didn't accept that, but because of the COVID, so they give me um what we call bank, all the details of bank, so I transfer my money and then I attach the receipt. So luckily they accept that. And last but not least, you need to sign. Okay, so that's all for this form. It's very easy form. So we go to the second form, this one. Okay, this one is IMP1A100 is professional interview application forms. The first one is to become the IM members, and this one is to apply for the professional interview. Okay, the first one, hang on, hey, so many, okay, sorry for that. Um, okay, all right. So first, you need to fill out your personal details. Okay, this is one is very easy, and then you need to specify the language that you prefer, because they're going to ask you if you write English, the question will be in English, and the interviewer also will be in English. If you write down in Malay, so the interview person will be in Malay, and the questions also will be in Malay. But I think for engineering, it's really hard for us to write, all the jargons, words and everything in Malay. So I prefer using it in English. And then you need to fill up your current employment. Okay. I'm sorry, I'm the host, so I need to accept. Okay, no one. Sorry. Okay. So next is your expertise. Okay, as for me, I am a researcher, I am academia, I'm teaching and also doing research. Basically, I just make it bigger, so you don't have to put like this. You just need to make it a bit smaller. Okay, I just want to make it to emphasize so that you guys can see it. Next one is you need to put the date you registered with the BM. So for me, just currently, which is in 2016. Okay, so this is the important part. Okay, you need to fill this form very carefully. So here, section D is where you put all your information about your relevant engineering degree. Okay, as for me, I put for my PhD and then my master and then my Bachelor Engineering. And then E is professional development training. You can put any professional training and developments that you attend after graduations. For example, I attend ADS software training course, IET workshops. Just write down everything because they wanted to see that you have intentions to develop yourself. Okay, and then F. F is professional services, paper presented, patents granted. So you need to write down everything. It's basically like a resume, your your resume. So you just write down your resume and put it in this form. Okay. So write down your professional services. For example, I become the and trainer before this. I also used to train Android Studio, and then write down all the professional bodies, the membership of professional bodies that you already become the members, and all the journals and papers that have been published. It's a lot of it, so I just make it blank. And then all the research award that you have been received, just put it here. Okay. Okay, next, this is also important, which is organizations chart or accountability diagram. This is important, okay? So basically, you need to show 2 or 3 levels of authority above and below your post, right? So you need to show the hierarchy the applicant seats. For example, this is me. I said this is my post, okay? Since 2015. So I need to show the hierarchy. Who is my boss? Who is my bosses? Okay, and then I need to show as well who the person side report to me. Okay, so this is the first accountability diagram. The next accountability diagram is I show them I become the secretary for the ISET 2020 because to show them that I have managed something. Okay, for example, I managed a conference and these people, sorry Kak Hayati ada kat sini. So these people report to me because I'm the secretary. So they just want to see the hierarchy of this, where you are, okay? This is important, all right. The next part is H, relevant career history. This is the most important thing is because whatever that you wrote down in H sections, it's related to others forms. It's related to the portfolio forms, it's related to the annex forms. So you need to write down here. If you write down here, very details, so it'll be easier for you to fill up the rest of the forms. Okay, so basically here, what it needs is you need to have provide detail of your work experience in chronological orders. Okay, summarize the employment history covering the titles. Okay, the durations, employer, and you need to state down the experience that you gained. Okay, the work scope. All right, and then what is your achievements, and give also some descriptions. What is your job scopes? So my suggestion is that you write something like this. Okay, here you have to start and end date. You put it here. Write down employer, who is your employer, the address, the job titles, and who is your boss during that time. During this time, my first experience is as research assistant. My supervisor is Dr. Azremi, who is currently my boss right now. So I write down my scope and what is my achievements. Why I wrote this? Because this is important for the others form. Okay, you will see the link, these H sections with the others form. Okay, I'll show you later. All right. So write down in details. Okay, here. So basically, whatever that you wrote here need to be written as well in annex and portfolio forms. All right. As for me, I wrote working as RA, and then working here, I'm working with Amphenol for 3 months. Also, I put it here. And then I continue my master. Also, I put it here. Become a lecturer before I pursue my PhD, and then um, and and then I become as a senior lecturer. And then after that, last but not least, is I do the practical training for 1 year, attachments at Late Technologies for 1 year. So write down the job scope, what you've done, what are your achievements, okay? So once you've done that, don't forget the declarations. Next is the supporter, okay? This is mandatory. So basically, the supporter is what the practice thing for sorry, I can attachments and lead technologies for 1 year. So write down the job scope. Sorry, I can hear my own voice. Okay. So once you've done that, don't forget the declaration. Sorry, anybody else can hear my own voice? It's just only me. Mandatory. So basically, the supporter is um. Why I can hear my own voice?
Doctor, maybe your Facebook, your Facebook live. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Sorry. Sorry about that. Okay. So I continue. Is that Dr. Lee? Thank you, Dr. Lee. Okay. Continue with the supporter. All right. So supporter number 1 and supporter number 2 is mandatory. So basically, the supporter number 1 is the higher ranking of the IM member. Okay. Okay. It says that the practice training and experience must be obtained under the supervisions of a PE who is in the same discipline. The PI applicant should be sponsored or supported by at least 2 qualified persons. The supporter must be PE, registered with the BM or the corporate member. At least one of the supporter must be in the same discipline. Okay, as for me, my first supporter is Professor Rizwan. Is the highest rank in the MIM. He is also the corporate member. He is my first supporter. My mentor here is Dr. Rashidi Chekbesun. He is my mentor. He is the same discipline with me, communications. My third supporter is optional, but I also put supporter is Dr. Arif. Dr. Arif Anwar, even though he is not in the same discipline, but I can nominate him as my supporter. So basically, supporter number 1 should have the big name in the IEM. The second supporter should be also the corporate member. It should be in the same discipline with you, because this mentor is the one that's going to endorse every document or every forms that you fill in. Okay. If I forgot, this section here need to leave blank, because what do you have here? Okay, you say here it's like endorsements by a supporter. Okay, so these sections you need endorsed by your supporter. As for me, it's Dr. Rashidi. So he's the one who endorsed each section of this, each part of this. Okay. All right. So we finished the second form. Okay. Sorry. There you go. All right. So now we're going to go for the third form. Is IM A401 training and experience portfolio and evidence. Okay. So here, sorry, the form should be words processed and use minimum font size 9, and it should be black ink. And one more important thing is that you're not supposed to bind or glue your all the forms, okay? Because they will be scanned and they will email back to you. Okay. All right. So for portfolio and evidence, there you need to fulfill the competency. The competency is you have 5 competency: A, B, C, D, and E. You may refer to this IMPI A100. I suggest for you to read these documentations, okay? Because it explains to you what is A1, what is A2 until E. Okay, so I really recommend it to you to read it first before you fill out the forms. All right. Okay, so basically each of the competency, it should be typically around 500 words, and each of these competency should be included with the attachments or appendix, or what we call as evidence. Okay, so basically, that's what I mentioned before. Part H is important because the applicant has to cross-reference with Part H rather than carry history of professional interview form when preparing the training and experience reports. So whatever that you wrote in Part H needs to be matched in this portfolio of evidence. You need to match it with the competency A, B, C, D, or E, okay? And then in these sections, you need to attach with the evidence, okay? All right. When preparing this portfolio, you need to ensure that the right-hand columns, it denotes the revision reference. It needs to leave blank as well, because when the examiner examine your portfolios and evidence, it says that the evidence is not enough or inadequate, so it's required resubmissions. So you need to, when they're required for resubmissions, so you need to write down the new submission date for the evaluator to see, oh, this is the new evidence. But I hope it won't happen to you. I hope you've prepared enough evidence for each of these portfolios so that they will ask you to provide more evidence, okay? Okay. Again, same like the previous form, Part H. This form also needs to be endorsed by your supporter, your mentor. As for this, it's also been endorsed by my second mentor, which is Dr. Rashidi. Every page, okay, need to be signed and endorsed by your supporter. Okay, so I will show you the example of it, of my training and experience report. Okay. All right. So basically, okay, let's compare with the Part H. Okay, this is my Part H. Okay, I start with employment as the research assistant. So whatever that I wrote in Part H here, the same thing I wrote it in here. Employer, job titles, durations, who is your supervisors, okay? Because these need to be stated down here. You need to state your job descriptions, okay? And then you need to add on a few lines that try to explain or to match with the competency. As for this one, for A1, it says you need to show evidence that showing that you maintain and extend the person knowledge, understanding, and technical skill in owned and allied field of those specializations. So I just add on. Okay, this from here until here is the same what I wrote here. Okay, so I just add on a few lines. I say, in order to fulfill the requirement for this research, basic electronic and anti-engineering are applied. So that's what it means by extend my personal knowledge. Okay, I use my knowledge to fulfill this task. Okay. Furthermore, literature review is done the whole process to make sure that the development antenna is novel, high efficiency, and meet the current demand technology. So this is how I maintained, I understand all the technical skill by doing the literature review. Okay, so the appendix or the evidence, I attach my offer letter as research assistant. So it's proof that I am the research assistant during this time. Then I also wrote down when I do my master, and then I continue with my doing attachments with the amphenol. So basically, the A1 is whatever that I wrote here in Part H. Okay, all right. So each of these sections, you need to have appendix. You need to have an evidence. Okay, for example, here job offer letter by amphenols. Okay. And here it needs to leave blank because this should be endorsed. This section needs to be endorsed by your mentor. Okay. All right. So that is for A1. Okay. For A2, what it says? Okay. A2, learn and broaden personal knowledge and experience in technology, product or services related to your own specializations. So to view your improvements. So what I do, same thing, okay, the same as what I wrote in Part H. I just copied back and paste it here, but I add on throughout the research, several papers has been presented. That it means for my improvements, I brought up my knowledge by published some papers and presented it. So for the appendix, for the evidence, attach my offer letter as research assistant, the same thing in A1. And I also attach a list of my published papers in Scopus. So to prove that I have been published these papers during this duration. Same thing that I wrote here that, all right. So that's why I'm saying part H is important. Okay. This is for the industry. I said that here literature is done during the whole process to make sure the development is novel, high efficiency, and meet the current demands technology. So the evidence is employer confirmation letter. All right, 83. Comprehend and applied knowledge and understanding the relevant engineering codes. Okay, apply understanding relevant engineering codes, standard and specifications, applications, for, especially those appropriate to local context requirements and applications. So what it means here, the same thing, research assistant, okay, but you need to add on a few sentences. It says that during this work, um, the antennas, for example, this my project is revolved on the antennas because my background is communications. So it says here practical methods and fabrications of the antenna being conducted based on several standards to ensure that the antenna production is performed properly and meets the requirements set. So this what means that you you fulfill the codes and standard specifications. So as the evidence, I attach the design and the RF layout guidelines because when we wanted to do a fabrications or we wanted to design, we need to have the antenna spec. Yeah, we need to know the antenna specifications. We need to know the guideline to do the fabrications. And then we need to follow the test of the antenna procedure. So we have the standard. For example, if you are doing a mechanical, so you need to have the mechanical standard of doing the measurements, okay, the fabrication. So you need to explain that in here, okay. All right. So basically, whatever I wrote in part H, I put it here, okay. And here at the end, you need to declarations, your name, your signature, and your supporter. Your supporter need to sign here and also here. Okay? Alright, next is B. B1 is identify projects and opportunities problem. So basically, before we wanted to design something, we need to know what is the problem statement, right? So that's so we add that statement in here. So in order to reduce mobile phone antenna size, is introduced. So I find out the problems. So in order to fulfill the requirements of mobile phones, basic electronic and other engineering are studied and applied. So basically the same things that I wrote previously, I just add up here. And I just saw someone want to, sorry. Okay. Then again, you need to, each of these, you need to have evidence. As you can see here, it's the same thing, the same evidence in the part A1. It's okay, all right? It's okay. So that is B1. Okay, now B2. Conduct appropriate research and analytic design and developments of engineering solutions. So here I said that at Amphenol, I said here it is covered from customer requirements and discussions for research and design. So I wrote down all the job descriptions, basically the same thing that I wrote in part H, but I just add on a few sentences to map with this competency. Okay. Right, so that is for the B, and then B3, implement design solutions and evaluate their effectiveness. So basically, as for me, how I evaluate the effectiveness, I participate in design competitions to test the performance of the products that are being developed. And then for the evidence, I attach the certificate of participants, the awards of certifications. Okay, that is for B3. And then we go to B4. Is it B4? Is it B4? Oh, but there's no, it's only B3. And then you go C1. C1 is the competency is for plan for effective project, job task implementations. So basically, as for lecturers, I think for everybody, we did do the teaching plan, right? So you wrote down that you do the teaching plan. That is to map the C1 competency. Okay, you said prepared and update lecture notes to align with the current technology. You design and develop relevant practical works in labs to enhance theories understanding through lab modules creations, update and re-evaluations. And then you said that you do a teaching plan. As for lectures, we do a pre-sem. Okay, you can wrote that as well. Okay, so for the evidence, since you put a teaching plan, so you need to put a teaching plan. One teaching plan example, one course evaluation results that you do the evaluations, and then this is, yeah, I just put all of this as the evidence. Okay, all right, and then so C2, showing them that you do plan, budget, organize, direct, and control tasks. So here you need to show them that you have someone's that you not control. I mean, like someone's you have managed something. Okay. As for me, I mentor and advise students on academic subject plans, assist students in learning because you are RPS. Okay, and I also and then you said that you collaborate with industries and other institutions in research because all of this we done it as a lecturer. So whatever that that comply with the competency tool, just write down there. Add on just a few sentences. So basically, the first here is the same thing that you wrote in part H, but you need to add on a few lines to map with this competency. Okay. So again, whenever that you mention the new informations, you need to have an evidence. As for me, I put the head of promotions committee offer letter. Okay, all right. C3, lead teams and develop staff to meet change technical or managerial needs. This is the same thing. Okay, you need to show that you have managed something. All right, you have lead something. So once you become a committee member, head of committee, I never hold any of those positions. So I show them example of I become a secretary, I become the judge, I become the head of before they become a head of promotions committee. So I say here active in administrations and service to society, such as promote the university and school. So whatever that a new sentence must have evidence. So basically we've done this, okay? As a lecturer, we've done all of this. So just write down carefully to map the competency, okay? All right. Okay. C4, bring out continuous improvements through quality management. So yes, we do. For example, we do improve our lecture notes. Okay. As for me, improvements and managements. As for managements, what is this? I become a secretary. Okay. So basically, if you realize it's just like the same things, but it's repeatable. Okay. But then the evidence you show them, so you already prepared the conference proposal. It shows that you manage something. Okay. You draft a letter for as a secretary. You need to draft a letter, things like that. So for the appendix for the evidence, I show them my secretary offer letter. Okay, it's basically it's repetitions. The evidence is repetition from the B1 and the part A and part B. All right, we're almost done here. Okay, D1, communicate in national or English language with others at all level. Well, as for us, as we speak, we do teaching and do discussions and everything in English. So that's what we said. We all the discussions and technical reports writing is done in English. So for the evidence, you can say that I didn't put evidence here. Okay, I put here. I said that all the papers has been presented and published, and all documentations, discussions, paperwork is done in English. So for the evidence, I attach a sample of the certificate participants. Okay, because yep. And then as for lecturers, for the evidence, I present a certificate. Or yeah, this is one of these examples that I attach here. Okay, present and discuss proposal. Yes, as I mentioned before, we do present and we did discuss a proposal. We do a proposal. For example, you Perhaps you become one of the secretary of a conference, you do a proposal, okay? So you can write down as that thing as well, okay? All right. Okay. So for those who doesn't never hold a post secretary, you might not have experience doing a proposal, but you might have an experience become a researcher. You do a proposals to apply grant, right? So you can attach that. You can set that as well. You have write down a proposal to apply grant and it has been granted, for example, okay? So for the evidence, you can appoint letter as many researcher, for example. Okay, they accept that as well. And then demonstrate personal and social skill. So in here, you said that you are very active in promoting university, for instance. You can list out all the committees that you are become a member of, for example. Or I think being a lecturer, we should become one of the any of the committee. Yes, for me, I'm promotion committee, so you can put it here as well. And then, okay, so for the appendix, for the evidence, no, you just a sample or appoint letter of head of promotion committee, a sample appoint letter as a judge, for example. Okay, you doesn't need to. You can write down everything here, but the evidence you doesn't need to have all the evidence. Just one or two evidence is enough. Okay. All right, E. All right. E is comply with the relevant codes of conduct. Okay, so basically, where we apply this as a lecturer, okay, here I start with research assistant. Throughout the research, several practical methods and fabrication and antenna testing has been conducted based on several standards. Okay, to ensure the antenna production is performed properly. All right. Here I put the appendix in list of published papers, and then attending talks. All right, just show our development. Okay, this one E2, manage and apply safe system of works. Um, so basically, for this job employment, what I do, practical methods and fabrication and antenna testing has been conducted based on several standards to ensure that the antenna production is performed properly and safe. Okay. So basically all the same. I use the same standard um, for all the antenna productions. All right. E3. Undertake engineering activities in a way that contribute to sustainable development. So here that you showing that you join a technical talk, okay? You mentor and advise students on academic subject. Here I said, what is this? Contribute sustainable development. Okay, so here I said that mentor and advise students on academic subject and assist in student learning, development process regardless of background, race and religion, nationality, social, academic class. So yeah, this just to showing them that I do this competency E3. All right, last, I think this is the last one. E4, carry out a record continuing professional development CPD necessary to maintain and enhance competence in own area of practice. So I said, when I become a lecturer, I attend, participate in short course, seminar, workshop. So as for the evidence, I show them the certificates attending this talk. Last but not least is E5. Understand the legal matters. Okay, so I wrote a new sentence here. Always control your professional behavior, and do good to others. Never underestimate or abuse the power of self-interest. Be responsible for every decision or action taken. So basically, all of this is it is listed in as engineer. You know what we call, you have a code of conduct. So I just write down just copy a few lines for the code of conduct of engineer and put it here. Okay, so I think that's all. So it's not that hard, isn't it? So basically, whatever that you do, sometimes you just don't realize that you actually have that competency. So my advice, your part H here, write down carefully, and then whatever that you put in part H here, try to map in this portfolio, training and training experience reports. And most importantly, you need to have evidence. Every words that you add on need to have an evidence. Okay. All right. So we proceed with that. Okay. Next form is Annex. Annex is design and site experience. Okay. So as I mentioned before, you need to have 6 months design experience and 6 months site experience. Okay. So this is how the forms looks like. All right. Okay. So basically, for each piece of transcript evidence, it must get it certified by your mentor or your supporter. Okay. You need to state the date, the job position, nature of job, and duration in months. So basically, here, whatever that it needs in this form is whatever that you already wrote down in part H. Durations, the employments, and the job scopes. Okay. So whatever that you wrote it here, write it back in this annex. Okay. You have Annex A and Annex B. So this Annex A and B, all right, is basically come from this portfolio, okay, from this form, from this training and experience report portfolio of evidence, because it have the Annex A and B. So basically, copy back whatever that you wrote in this form, okay, copy back it here, right? Copy back in Annex A, and then copy back in Annex B. But you need to know which one is for site and which one is for design, okay? Because you will just want to see whether you have enough experience durations for each of these design and site experience. And each of these site need to be endorsed by your supporter, right? When you have enough months, then you can apply to sit for the professional interview. Okay, so we've done that. Okay, so last is the technical reports. The technical reports is basically the reports that you've done during your industrial attachments. Okay, you should submit 2 copies of your technical report along with the professional application forms. And the technical report shall demonstrate that the applicant has attained the engineering knowledge, understanding, and application in his engineering disciplines or sub-disciplines. Okay, so what should be in the technical report? It doesn't have any specific format, but it should be follows this one. At least you should have a list of content, which is table of content, a brief executive summary, an abstract, okay, a column on the right of each of every page of the report for the supporter to endorse or to certify. Okay, so basically when you write your technical report, you need to have 1 column at the right side, so for your supporter to endorse it every page. Okay, and then a checklist at the end of the report for the applicants to check, sign, and confirm all the documentation submitted in the report by him. Okay, so the content of the report must be technical in nature, just like your PhD report, something like that. The applicant can prepare the technical project from the competency of the career history that you already write down in the part H, or that you demonstrate in categories A and B. As for me, my technical report is what I wrote in technical report is my project that I've done at late industry. Okay, that is my technical report. It should be typically 4,000 to 6,000 words. It shouldn't be too long. Okay. All right. So this is important. What should be in technical report? Okay. First, it should be it must have design work, must have the feasibility study, research and development work, operations and maintenance works, and other engineering works. So what is design work? Design work is actually your methodology, okay? At least 2 or 4 working drawing to appropriate readable skill that acceptable at the norm in the applicant's engineering discipline or subdiscipline. As for me, I put my antenna design. It's a methodology of your design. That is what it means by your working drawing. Okay. And then feasibility study. Feasibility study is one relevant drawing that conveys essential features and details of the engineering system. At least 3 sketches that contain sufficient detail to enable the job person to work them up into the concept. It's basically, it's more like, um, yeah, it's more like your methodology as well. You need to have your uh, for antenna, we have parameter, antenna parameter. So you need to have this one. Feasible study, basically, okay. This one, research and development work. You need to have these descriptions of your project, okay, the detailing, the planning, okay, um, and then you need to have the prototyping work from the computer, which means that your antenna, is for me, I can give you an example of the antenna design. You're designing in CST, okay, the laboratory model, so it looks like, so it should be here as well. You need to be put in the your technical reports, okay. The report, if it's extracted from your PhD or master thesis, it has to contain a significant practical industrial applications, okay. Some of the candidates, they actually copying back whatever they wrote in their PhD or master thesis, but need to add on with some practical industrial applications. Okay, for example, okay, what it means. All right, next is operations and maintenance work. Okay, it means you need to have um, a plan or a system together with a maintenance schedule. For example, when you do your once you're already done your fabrications, you already design, and then you need to fabricate. So it's kind of like your operations, your Gantt chart, all your all the whole projects, what we call that one, your whole project timetables. Oh my God, so it's like your Gantt chart, something like that. Okay, so you need to have that. So that they see you have a plan for each of these stage. Okay, phase number 1, phase number 2, phase number 3. All right. And then, oh, okay, so that's all what you need to put in this technical report. I can show you my technical report example, perhaps after this. Okay. All right. All right, so when you already done all of that, you already fill all the forms, requirements, 4 forms, if I'm not mistaken, and then you have these technical reports. So you submit it to the IEM, and then they will present it in the board, they will evaluate it. If you're pass and no one's they will put your name in the bulletin. Okay, it says that this is the candidate that for the professional interview. If no one's object of this candidate, so she or he accept for this professional interview. So once it's been accepted, you will get an email from the IEM. It will send to you that you are now eligible for the interview and examination process. So basically, for the interview and examinations, they have 2, the orals and written examinations. Okay, they just wanted to test your knowledge on your experience that you have acquired during your working period as engineer. So my suggestion is that you need to read your technical reports, because they're going to ask you based on your technical reports. Okay, so read from whatever that you wrote there, you need to understand it carefully. Okay, because that's what you're going to ask. So basically, the oral examinations will be allocated about 1 hour and 30 minutes for each candidate. It depends. Sometimes my examiner, they quite chatty. They like to talk with you, so they're going to ask you more. Okay. So you should arrive at least 15 minutes before study interview, okay? And then the format for the interview process, you can just prepare with the slide presentations. You can give them your reports, okay? As for me, I do a slide presentations, and I print out my slide presentations and give it to them, to the both of the examiners, because they don't have projectors, okay? So basically, they will, when you present, they will look at the slide that you print. All right. So what you should need have is during the presentations, you can have introduction of yourself, and then you have 15 minutes for the presentations. Basically, you present what you've done, your in the technical reports, okay? And after that, they will have 60 minutes of question and answer. So basically, they just ask you whatever that you write in the technical reports. I think it's not that hard. Okay, they won't ask you some things that you didn't know. Basically, whatever that you wrote in the technical report, that what they're going to ask. Okay. The interview will be conducted in the selected language that you prefer, that you choose in the forms. If you jot down English, so they will ask you in English. But if you choose Bahasa Malaysia, so the interviewing process will conducted in Malay. So it's up to you. Okay. All right. So the oral examination presentations is allocated about 15 minutes. The content of the presentations, it should base on your piece of work or project that you done in the portfolio evidence in the training, in the technical reports, and it also should demonstrate the best competency for categories A and B. Okay, the presentation format is up to your choice. It can be in PowerPoint, it can be in paper-based presentations. It also can be just a verbal presentations. But for me, I prefer the PowerPoint. Okay. If you're doing a PowerPoint presentations, you are required to bring 3 paper copies, as I mentioned before, so that presentations can be given to the interviewer, so that they can see while you present, because they don't have a projector. All right. So the interviewers will generally going to ask you about your career history, okay, and you need to able to explain your technical content of your words that you already wrote down in your technical reports, okay, and then they also will ask you, okay, this is important. They will ask you about the development action plan, DAP, okay? So it's another form. It's the form IMPI C300. The end of the oral presentation, they usually will ask you this. So prepare these as well at the end of your slide presentation. I will show you the example of this. All right. So that's all for the oral examinations. Okay, 1 hour, 1.5 hour. Okay, basically. And then after you finish your oral examinations, you will continue with the written examinations. The written examinations were conducted. You have 2 sections, section A and section B. Section A is a technical essay. Technical essays come from your technical work. They will ask you based on your technical reports. Okay, usually 1 or 2 questions. Section B is ethical essay. Section B ethical essay is actually the questions is already been given. Okay, we have like I think 11 questions. All right, I'll show you 11 questions. So you just pick idea from that questions to from the section B. So each essay will be allocated 90 minutes. Basically, for these 2 essay, they will give you 3 hours. So it's up to you how you wanted to manage your times on that. Okay. All right. I already explained these. Section B. Okay. It's about ethical essay. All right. Okay. Sorry. Okay. So, okay, in section A, Okay, section A, they will be assessed based on two main competency categories. They will ask you about technical knowledge and applications and written communication proficiency. So basically, um, this is what they're going to ask. They will ask you this from your technical reports. So usually the question would be like how you relate your current project with current technology, for instance, something like that. Just to show that how you understand your engineering fundamentals, okay, um, with your disciplines, okay, and how you apply the appropriate theoretical and practical methods to the analysis of solutions. And so these basically they will give you um, the answer sheets, not answer sheets, um, the what we call the one that you wanted to answer it, answer sheets. So basically, you need to write down your answer at least 6 pages. Okay, just like an A4, you can practice it before you go through this exam. So it's just like an A4 A4 papers. So at least 6 pages. That's what I've been told by my examiners. You need to write down at least 6 pages. Okay. Okay. For section B. Okay. So section B, as I mentioned before, they will ask you about it's what is it? The ethical essay. So this is the ethical essay, okay? All right, they have around 13 questions. So the questions already been given here. So just read all the questions and study the answer, okay? Ini macam soalan bocor lah. I mean like, yeah, you can just read out. So the question is based on this question. That's it. All right. Okay, so what they're going to see for this is they wanted to ensure that you understand the IM or BM code of conduct, okay? How you take professional ethically responsible in actual work situation based on the questions, and how you understand the impact of engineering solutions. So you must have all of these when you answer the questions, okay? Right. Okay, the rules. It should be handwriting. I know it's hard, but you need to practice it, okay? Because it, I didn't, it's been a long time for me doing the handwriting, so I practiced it several times. And candidate is not permitted to bring any form of reference materials. This is important because the examination area is very small. It's at the library. The library is very small, so everybody can see you. You know, if you bring toyo, so I think they can see that. Okay, and most important thing is not more than 3 hours. Okay, so you need to practice to answer both questions in 3 hours. But it's easy. Okay, don't worry, it's easy. Okay, so this is the tips. Okay, the best way to prepare for the interview is to review your application forms, your trainings, your technical reports. That is the most important thing is because that is the question come from. Okay. You also need to bring along a copy of your completed professional application forms, a copy of completed training and experience report, just in case they ask the questions. As brought it, 3 paper copies of your presentation materials, a copy of candidates' development action plans. This is important. Okay, and photo identification such as my card, driver license, just to ensure that you are the candidates. Okay. Okay, now I already share you everything. I would like to share you um, my industrial project. Basically, this is what I presented to them. Okay, I do the attachments with late technology in Parai in Penang for 1 year. Okay, under the supervisions of Mr. Ng Kok Jun. He's a very nice guy. So what I do a lot of antennas there, but I just pick one project, which is a wideband antenna for indoor applications. So I show them the flow chart, the development process of this project. So they can see, as I mentioned before, you need to have a time frame, or like the development process. Okay, so I show them how the process that this project looks like. Okay, so first, whatever it is, it comes from the customer and the product manager, and then go to the technical specifications, and then we do the feasibility studies. Okay, so all of that. And then next, you need to have these technical antenna specifications. That is what is requirements in technical report as well. So show them the spec. What is the spec that you need to fulfill? Okay, this is the guideline that you need to follow when you design the antennas. So then you show them the design that you do in simulations. So this is the design that I've designed, okay? And I show them a result, the development process, all right? And then once already designed in CST, I satisfied with the results, and then I proceed with the fabrication. So now now is the mechanical part, mechanical design. This is also important. You need to show them that you do the mechanical parts. Okay, so this is design, the details of the mechanical design for the prototyping. And then once you're done the fabrications, now is the measurement part. So attach the antennas. This is the example of the antennas. This is what we call the mini chamber. We measure it for the VSWR and S11. Okay, and then as one of the requirements for the antenna, they also wanted the antenna to pass the PIM. Okay, the PIM test. They have the PIM chamber, so the antenna need to pass the PIM for a few frequencies. So this is how the chambers looks like. Okay, it's a small chamber. And then this is a big chamber. This is what we call the anechoic chamber. This is where we measure the gain, the efficiency, and the radiation patterns. So show this to them. And basically, this is what I put in the technical report as well. Okay, so this is project development area. Okay, this is where I do the fabrications. I printed the antennas, the PIM, and this is me while I do the fabrications, just to prove to them that I'm the one who doing this project. Okay, so you need to put your pictures as well. All right, so this is what I said before, the development action plan. So this is important. You need to show this to the examiners. Okay, and basically this is they have a form for this. You need to fill up the forms. So for development action plans, they have short-term developments and long-term career aspirations. So basically, this is more about yourself, okay? It's more about your short-term developments and your long-term career aspirations. This is my short-term developments. What I wanted to do is I would like to successfully secure one industry project, produce journals, to have a postgraduate students, okay? Okay. And then for long-term career aspirations, I wanted to be appointed as keynote speaker. Basically, it's just more related to yourself, but they wanted to see this so that they can see that, oh, you have a plan for your career. So this is the journey that you're going to make after you get the IR status. Okay. All right. I think that's all for me for the presentations today. Yeah, if you guys have any questions, you can ask me now so that I can answer it. Any questions or macam gila sekarang hujan kan tidur kot. Oh, I think I stopped sharing. Where is stop sharing? All right.
Hi, Dr. Saidatul.
Yes.
Hi, I'm
I'm
Susie here from UKM. Thank you for your nice presentation and sharing. It was very helpful. So my question is, for your industrial attachment, was it a full-time attachment or it was a part-time attachment?
Okay, my industrial attachment is for Unimap is part-time because it's part-time because I'm actually doing teaching as well. I'm still teaching and I still go for industrial attachment as well. So I go to the company twice a week. Yeah, every Thursday and Friday, but Monday until Wednesday is teaching.
So it's an official attachment which is allowed by Unimap, is it?
Yeah, it's official, but it's a part. Yeah, it's official, but part time. They granted me part time.
All right, okay. All right, thank you very much.
Sai,
Welcome. Yeah.
I have a question. Okay, so
Yeah.
there are two part of application. You can apply through IEM and you can apply through BEM, and the forms are quite similar but different. So why
Oh.
you choose IEM? Is it much more easier, or when I look at the form, I think IEM is much more difficult because it's specific writing.
I think because the requirements, I think I'm much more because I don't have much experience on the industry. Therefore, I need to apply to become the corporate member first, because the requirement for the become the corporate members is that you only need to have 1 year experience in doing attachment with industry. So that's why I go through IEM instead directly BM, because BM they need 3 years experience in industry. I
Uh,
hope betul tak?
Betul ke? Ke kita boleh juga, we can apply also through BEM, right? Although
Um,
we only have 1 year of experience, industry experience.
mm, big,
I think we can,
oh,
because
okay.
we experience in teaching.
Teaching.
Teaching is different. Okay, so that's why I think we can apply through BEM also. But anyway, maybe this you choose the best one for you is IEM. Yeah, it's okay. I will see. All right. Thank you for your sharing.
Right, you're welcome. Any more questions? More?
Sai,
Oh
can I ask
no, wow.
question? Sorry. May I know what is the requirement of the company that you want to do the attachment with? Is there any requirement from IEM or BM?
Oh, come again.
The
You asked.
requirement of the company that we want to do the attachment with.
Oh, you mean
Thank
what
you.
is the requirement from the company, right?
No, I mean like, is there any standard that IEM and BM put in order
Oh,
to the company that you want to request to do the attachment with?
oh, okay. Thank you, Dr. Farhan, for your question. Dr. Farhan is my roommate. Basically, okay, there is no requirement, like there's no standard requirement from the IM which company or what company that you can do attachments. But basically, when you do your attachments, you need to know what is the requirements for the reports. Okay, as I mentioned before, they need to have the design on the site experience, the costing. So when you do the attachment, you need to tell your supervisor, these are the things that I need to do. These are the things that I need to done so that I can put this in my technical reports. If you just go for attachments, just like doing design, but you don't have a background on the costing, how to do the fabrications, and how to do the measurements, and how to drawing some things like that. So it's not enough, because you cannot write down in the technical reports. So it should not you not fulfill the capacity of A and B. So there's no requirements from the IM what company, but when you do the attachments, you need to know, you need to tell the supervisor what you want, because normally, as for me, they ask why you want to do attachments, because you already have PhD. So you said to them, I would like to do attachments because for my professional engineer applications, in order to do that, I need to have 1 year, at least 1 year experience in this and this in this. You need to tell them, I need to have this. I need to have this experience in this side and also in this side. So that is basically the objective of doing the attachment.
Okay, clear. Thank you so much.
Okay. Okay, Rafida, could you please share the presentation slide later? Boleh, boleh, saya boleh share. Sure, after this. Ada soalan tak? Kompat nak balik ambil anak.
Doctor, I have question.
Okay.
I'm actually from the industry. uh, no worry. Okay, I just want to understand because after the revision of Engineers Act 2015, which opened the registration that you mentioned just now, route A, B, C, right? So now the pattern look like route B through overseas engineering bodies is getting more popular because of this mobilization, globalization.
Okay.
So I also noticed that some of the academician is also going through chartered engineer UK or whatsoever equivalent because currently I am also applying through chartered road, which I make a comparison just now with the report that you have done for IEM,
Yep.
which
Almost
is like
clear.
about similar but is simpler.
Mm-mm.
Is simpler and if not mistaken just now your total report most probably easily hit 100 pages.
Yep.
Which if you are this is based on my submission to K is about less than 20 pages. The only difference is that when we being professionally registered with as a chartered engineer, and then we would like to convert, we need to take more ethic question.
Yes, correct.
Because considering they are considered us as a foreign registered engineer.
Yep.
Yeah, so for us to be to understand Malaysian culture. So what is your opinion on this? The difference between this route and the conventional BEM and IEM route?
Oh, okay. My opinions regarding between route B and route C. Is that how to short form the question?
Yes.
Okay. I tried the route B before, but it's a bit costly. It's a bit because you need to become the IET member before, right? To get the chartered engineer, and it's the price is a bit like cost you 1,000 something, right? So that is I think it's, before this, to be frankly speaking, the form for to apply as a corporate member, the form is much more easier compared to the one that they have the latest one. But then when they improve it, it's become a bit difficult. So before that, I actually use route B, chartered engineer, but it costs you, for me, it's quite expensive because you need to pay for the fees as a chartered engineer, and then you need to wait to apply and convert it with the BM, because the BM process is also take a while. So for my opinions, is it's because of the price. I don't have much money to pay for the chartered engineer's fee, so that's why I go for the corporate members, because it's just it's less price compared chartered engineer.
Okay, thank
That's
you.
my opinion. You're welcome. But it's up to anybody. You can, chartered engineer is also good. It's also good because it's well recognized all over the world. But for me, I just want the IR for the academicians, so I go for the corporate memberships, much more cheaper. Ada soalan lain tak?
Oh, last question, Doctor. Yeah, sorry. So for the appendix, right, we have a lot of appendix in the report and submission, right? So how are we going to link up? We just label appendix A, B, C, or I mean the appendix part. Yeah, all the evidence.
Oh, how to link? Okay. Susah nak jawab tu. Basically, I didn't like I just put appendix all together in one report, but that they will the examiner will look it one by one, because they actually email me because I forgot to there's some missing evidence, so actually not missing lah. I forgot to give them 2 copies of the evidence the evidence, but the report is 2 copies, but the evidence I only give them 1. So they want me to re-copies and resend it back another copies. Okay, I didn't like put it, oh, this is for A, B, C. No, I just like put it all together. But they look at it. They basically fine. But I put a title on it. I mean, like this is appendix for A1. This is for appendix A2, so that it's be easier for the examiner to look at it.
Okay, I see. Yeah. Okay,
Yes.
thank you. That will be much easier. Okay, thank you.
No. They're not very fussy, but they're very fussy if you bind it. Okay, they will call you and complain. Why did you bind? Ada soalan lagi tak? Oh, can we have the copies of the reports if you don't mind? Report yang mana Technical report ke? Boleh lah. Technical report. Sebab baru tu ingat dia ada macam companies punya confidential, but I can show you some example lah. Macam mana let me nantilah my technical reports.
Technical report maybe saya boleh bagi contoh dekat dia punya apa nama? Yang face yang ada pages, table of content. So dia orang boleh tahu benda apa yang kena ada kat dalam tu. Maybe dalam tu kan ada yang apa nama? Confidential kan. So in table of content tu they can see what is it inside. Apa yang should be dekat dalam report tu lah.
Oh, kejap.
Sebab dalam tu ada benda yang confidential, kita tahu kan. Sebab nak bagi satu report tu kita tak maybe tak sesuai kot.
Sekejap, saya cuba cari balik. Alamak, time kita dari ni. I can show you some example of my technical report. Hang on ya. IM application. My technical reports. Okay. Oh, I didn't share my slide. So the whole time, hey, present now. Sekejap di last. Okay, so this is my technical reports, alright. Okay, I ada level table, list of figure, abstract, okay. Basically just like your PhD reports, ada chapter lah, I buat chapter. Development, ada design, feasibility study, and then chapter 5 is more on the measurements. Okay. So chapter 1, okay. Abstract biasalah. Okay. So ini penting. Okay, ini cara I buat. This is my technical report. So I leavekan supaya cakap Melayu ke? So basically I leave one on the right side a bit blank here because so that your supervisor, as for me, my supervisor is not a PE. So the one that endorsed me is my mentor, is Dr. Rashidi. Okay, he's the one who stamped here, endorsed every copy of my technical reports. So first I start with the introductions, it's a normal introductions. And then next I start with the design and development process. I show the specifications, the drawing, okay? And then, okay, one more important thing is that you need to show the equations that you do. Show that the development process, okay? How you calculate it, all right? So this is one of the requirements for the technical reports, okay? And then feasibility study is, as for me, I do the feasibility study because I need to see which design is better, which one is better for the productions. So I compare it with the 3 petals and a 4 petals design, and then make comparisons. So based on this result, I see that the 4 petals is the best. So I chose that one to do measurements. Okay. So this is the result of comparison. Tak ada apa kot, I tengok. Alright, then we start to do the fabrication parts. Okay, so this is the fabrication part. Okay, so this is the result. I think this is one more thing that I would like to share with you guys is how to do the drawing part. Alright, okay, so you need to have this. Gantt chart development, okay, to show the process. All right. this is a technical drawing, all right? So the technical drawing, so this is what you need to do. So basically, this is what that you design. For example, you're doing in simulations, you need to have this part, okay? Designed by whom, who, okay? When approved means that this design been approved before the productions, okay? What is the product names, all right? Okay. So this is how you put the technical drawings should looks like, okay? And then that's all. The next thing is, the most important thing is like you need to have the cost development. This one is very simple one, but it's still acceptable, okay? And last but not least, at the end of the report, you need to have this prepared by who and certified by whom, okay? Tak panjang pun, 54 page je. Itu je lah. So I think itu je kot. Jiman, any more question? Lama, let's stop sharing. Stop sharing. Okay. Alright, you're welcome.
Thank you, Doctor.
You're welcome, everyone. Thank you for attending this workshop. Thank